so freaking bad? Wrestle me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children, ages 18 and up. If you're a child, why are you listening to this? That's pretty bad on you and your parents. Welcome to Juice Pro Wrestling episode 129, Hellbent Vixen. Hellbent and Vixen. And with us today is a very special guest. You might have seen her with promotions such as Impact Wrestling, AAA in Mexico, and the one, the only PCW Ultra, ran by our homie Joseph Samael. God, I'm tripping over my fucking words already, and we haven't even got 5 minutes into this shit. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only Viva Van.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. That was a great intro.
Minus the flub, but you'll have that because, you know, it's the really real world, man. What am I going to do about it? So how are you doing tonight, Viva? What's going on?
I'm doing pretty good. Just getting ready for training later.
How's the training going?
You know, killing myself, but, you know, got to do what you got to do.
That's right. Old Black Sabbath song, Killing Yourself to Live. So you've only been in the business, what, a few years now, right? Since 2018?
Yeah. I
mean, and you're doing a lot of things. Like I said, those PCW, you've done matches with Impact, AAA, obviously a huge promotion in Mexico. I mean, not only that, you got like, you're an entrepreneur of sorts. You got your own website. You sell your own. How would you explain this? Is it like sexy attire? It's hellbentglam.com, by the way, right?
So, yes. So my store, we sell vegan cosmetics and accessories.
There you go. That's where Sret needs to go to get some makeup. Nice. Look his fucking ugly face look better.
I cry when the mics turn off. It's cool.
I like your stubble. The stubble makes it, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So with all that going on, I mean, and kind of take us back a little bit because, I mean, to me, it seems like with the wrestling, I mean, you're also doing vocals, right? I mean, we talked on Twitter. I mean, you're really something I thought was super cool about you. And I found out about you through a previous guest, our homie Mecha Wolf, who we were just talking about off air. I was like, hey, check out my girl Viva Van. She's good people. I fucking checked your shit out, and you're like all about the death metal and shit, like wear Campbell Corp shirts and all that. And I'm like, yeah, we need to get this girl on. We need to talk to her and see what the hell's going up. So before we get into any of the wrestling stuff, I kind of want to take a dive into your metal history. Like, I know you sing in a band. I don't know. Are you currently involved in a band or a project of any sort? And kind of take us back into what bands you're in and what really got you into like the death metal aspect. Because I sing in a band, Handsome Prick. Bodie sings in a band called Sexual Atrocities. That's right. We said it. So, yeah, break it down.
Well, right now I am starting a new band and we're in the process of writing music. I don't have a name for that band yet, but, you know, I'm hoping that we'll get something out within the next few months. But I did take a really long break from death metal. I used to be in a band called Mocking of the Trinity. It was about 6-7 years ago, and we were a death metal. We're all strictly death metal. This time around, I want to go more like old school death metal, you know, inspired by Swedish. That's nice. my jam right there.
Well, no, you got the death tattoo on the side there. You a huge death fan? You gotta be. You put it on your flesh.
Of course, that's why I have it on my wrist. But yeah, I forget I have that tattoo actually until I see a picture of it.
Oh man, how could you forget about Chuck and Co?
Your tattoos become a part of you, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I feel you. I just got one for my newborn son. It's I don't know if you're into punk or not, but it's like a Descendants tattoo.
Oh, can't really see
it. Yeah. You kind of forget they're there. I get you on that. Yeah. I wanted to ask you though, so with the band thing, and you're saying you're doing all the death metal and all that, what got you into death metal? Like where did you start musically? Like because you know, when I was a little kid, I mean, I've been doing the death metal thing now for 15 plus years, grindcore, whatever, death grind, you know, it gets all bastardized down the line. But what inspired you? What bands got you into it?
Okay, well, if we want to go back in time. I think everyone can really relate to my story. Well, anyone that is into metal now, let's say 5th grade, I heard Linkin Park, and then I heard Slipknot, and then it just led to deeper and heavier bands. You know, that's just how it always starts until
Down the rabbit hole.
Down the rabbit hole, exactly. And then in high school, my friend took me to my first thrash metal show at the Black Castle in LA, which is no longer around. But most metalheads in LA know where the Black Castle is. And it was this like rundown place, but that's where we would go to. And yeah, that's how it started for me.
You play any instruments at all?
The ukulele.
Oh, hey, it's an instrument,
right? Put some EMGs in that thing and start shredding.
I wish I had more time, or I wish I would have had the patience to put more time into other instruments, but I don't.
So what got you into like actually singing and doing the vocals?
I just thought, why not? Just try it one day. Like, you know, I love this type of music so much and I want to be involved in it instead of just being a fan. So one day I tried it, and then I got advice from like other death metal vocalists that I was friends with, and they encouraged me, and I just kept going from there.
Who were some of these people? Drop some names, girl.
His name's Edwin. I had a friend named Edwin. He was in Nihilitist at the time.
And he just told you, like, get out there and fucking, yeah, your fucking ass off and all that crazy
he
shit.
would help guide me, and I would just send my vocals to him, and then he'll like critique it and tell me what I can do to like help. Because when I first started, it sounded straight black metal. I just couldn't go low at all.
Yeah.
So like it just had to keep working to make it sound guttural. And then once I got there, I, you know, just tried to expand more from there.
Hell yeah, those deeps are hard to get.
Yeah,
especially for a girl.
Oh yeah. There's not a lot of, I mean, you have female vocalists in the underground metal scene. Who's that chick that Doyle's dating from the Misfits? Blue hair chick, Bodie.
Oh, dude, I can't remember her name. I know who you're talking about.
I would keep wanting to say like Lacuna
White or something, Alicia White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget who she sings
her
for.
name.
Arch Enemy, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
There you go. I mean, so you have girls like that in metal, but you don't really see too many other than like, God, who's that band that was god awful back in the day? She did some on a 6 Feet Under album like in 2001. Crisis, I think. Karen Crisis. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a lot of females doing that stuff. So props to you and getting down and getting your fucking metal on.
I feel like there are a lot of females doing it right now.
Like the brutal death metal?
Well, not strictly brutal death metal, but I mean, you guys heard of Nervosa? They're from Brazil.
Yeah, Nervosa
Like
and Ginger.
A few members have split up and they started a new band called Crypta Death or something like that. Sounds pretty good. I mean, I feel like there's a lot more girls in bands now. I mean, maybe not mainstream, but then again, metal is not mainstream. So
yeah,
I do know
exactly.
a lot of like female guitarists that are trying to start a band.
Yeah, there's a lot of female guitarists and stuff. I just myself personally haven't, as far as like my death metal and shit like that goes, I haven't seen too many female lead singers, which is awesome. So the more the merrier, you know. I remember back in the day when I was in high school, like Kitty. You guys remember Kitty?
Oh yeah, and Drain.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what it was, man. It was just, I was like, whoa, there's like all chick band in their metal.
Right.
It was fucking awesome. So going from, and you incorporate all this, like your metal into like your wrestling, your whole look and everything with what you do. You do some modeling. Didn't you do something for Maxim Mag?
Not for Maxim. Well, I guess it was more of like a competition that I was entered in for their front cover. I didn't win, but my fans did keep me in the competition for a while. So I am very thankful for that.
Going into like wrestling now. So you started training with the Santino brothers, right? At the Santino Brothers Wrestling. Where the hell did you get the idea that like, all right, one day I'm just going to strap on some boots and some fucking tights and get in the ring and toss motherfuckers around? Well,
you know, wrestling has been a very big part of my life when I was a kid. I would watch it all the time. I would talk to my friends about it in school when SmackDown used to be on Thursday nights. And I remember going into school the next day in 3rd grade, talking to my friends about, oh, did you see what Stone Cold did? Like, just during that era. But it was always like a little secret of mine, like, oh, I want to be like them so bad, but I'm too embarrassed to tell anybody about it. And then I started going to college, and at the time I was majoring in accounting, and I eventually switched. But before I switched, I was like, is this something I really, really want to do with my life? Like, I can't imagine myself settling down for a job like this. So I just looked up, wrestling schools in LA, and I found Santino Bros and just gave it a go.
It said, fuck the accounting. But did you finish college?
I did finish college, but with a marketing degree.
Oh, there you go.
Very nice.
She's armed
Sweet.
and dangerous, man. Damn.
Still business, but not anything to do with math. So
Oh, I hate math. It's one of my it was one of my worst subjects in high school. I remember once we got into trigonometry and all that hard stuff, I don't even know what that word means. My teacher would be like, Wallace, you taking the test today? I'd be like, nope. All right, go sit in the hall. I didn't do any work in that class and still passed with a D.
There you go.
Yeah, math sucks. I mean, basic addition. I do that shit at work right now, and I'm like, I don't like it. When did you have your actual first match?
My first match was, I think, September 20th, 2018. That was my first debut.
And was that just like a local promotion out there in Cali?
Cool. My school debuted me for my first.
I take it that's, obviously you train with them and they hook you up with other people. I mean, you seem to have some really quality friends in the business. Like I said, Mecha Wolf. Are you friends with Joseph Samael at all? Or like, how's that work? Who are some of the people in the business that you're tight with?
So, I mean, I'm friends with everybody. I try to keep it friendly with everyone. I think the main thing that helped me was I got really great advice when I started training. And that advice was to start going to local shows and pay your dues.
Yeah.
So I was going to help out with the ring and helping out with merch before I was even going to debut. So I did that probably a year or two before I made my official debut. So I had made connections. I was doing merch for PCW. That's how I got my way in there.
Okay. Yeah, I seen what was it? It was a promo video, I think, from last year. Maybe it was the year before. It was War Beast. You were in it. Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah.
That shit was pretty awesome. I love the vibe they got there. Yeah, I mean, Joseph's got a sick roster going on, and hopefully once they get back up and going after this COVID shit's over.
I know.
What's that been like for you? I mean, obviously, are you getting any less bookings? I mean, it seems like you have a little bit to fall back on.
Yeah, well, when COVID hit, I had 2 months left of college. So it sucked because I did cancel a lot of my bookings, but I got to focus on just graduating. So I got to do that. And once I finished graduating, everything that I had lined up, future shows and also just internships that I had lined up after college, they were all just canceled. So I figured that's when I decided to start my business, and I started working on that right away.
Very nice. Who would you say is one of the worst people you've ever worked with as far as in the ring? Or is there anybody? Or do you not want to name them?
I'd rather keep that to myself.
Good move. Damn it. Good call.
Who's some of your favorite people to work with in the ring?
My favorite people to work with? I hate that this happens because there's a lot of people that are my favorite, but I go blank every time I get this question.
Well, who do you feel like? I mean, so you're very comfortable with a lot of the people you've worked with in the ring then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like I've been very blessed, and I've been lucky with the amount of people I've ran into, because you hear horror stories about people getting stiffed or beat up when they're new and stuff like that, but I think I've been pretty blessed. People that I like to work with, you guys heard of Christy James? She's really good. I enjoy working with her. Some Danica Delarue, she was a really good opponent I had. I only got to wrestle her twice, I think so. But I just like to work with everyone and as many people as I can, because I feel like that's the only way you can grow.
Right. Yeah, learn the tools of the trade from as many people as you can, different styles.
Oh, yeah, duh. Sumi Sakai. How can I forget? I blank when I get asked these questions. So Sumi Sakai, I learned a lot from her. She's great. She's so awesome. And Katarina Waters.
Yeah,
another
Winter
one.
and TNA.
Yeah. So I've been pretty blessed so far, and I loved everyone that I worked with. So I've always learned a little bit of, a little bit more each time I work.
What was it like working down in AAA?
Well, it's very challenging,
You would think. I mean, do you speak Spanish at all? I mean, how does that work? Like,
So I don't speak Spanish, but I understand a little bit, and then
Plus words.
it's all body language when you're wrestling. As long as you can read body movements and stuff like that, is universal.
it seems like it'd be tough. Like I know a lot of people do that, especially when they go to Japan and stuff.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, oh shit.
I have a question, and forgive me because it takes me like 20 minutes to get my questions out when I start to ask them. Watch Wallace's eyes roll into the back of his head. So I'm really curious, given the position you're in when you do wrestle. So there's a difference between, I wanted to ask earlier about what that experience was like emotionally and like the butterflies and intimidation and all that shit when you first walked into school that first day or that first week, and either the physical stuff they had you do, the working out, meeting people that have been in it for like a year versus like 5 years or whatever, that feeling versus your first match versus like, I don't know, like because I don't know how comfortable you are now. You might be you might have the match of your life and might have been shitting your pants the whole time, but us as an audience were like, holy shit, like this is the baddest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that? Like that like 3-part difference that first time,
Yeah.
I'm very curious about that.
So my first time ever walking into training, I was so nervous. It was really hard. It was a lot harder than I thought it would be, but I'm just happy that, I don't know, there were times that I thought to myself, like, this is really hard. Like, is this something you really want to do? And, I just stuck it out. And I think in my class, we've had like 40 people, and only 3 from my class graduated. And I happen to be one of the 3.
Wow.
So that just shows you how hard it is. And it was very rough on the body because you're not used to bumping, you're not used to rolling or anything like that. And of course, there's like, you're bound to get injuries because when you learn new moves, you're not going to do them correctly right away. So
Right.
I've had many injuries during training, and but the feeling that I have being in that ring, I can't explain it. It's kind of like therapy to me. It helped me a lot through stress. And like whenever I'm in the ring, like nothing else matters. I don't know if you guys understand where I'm going with it, but it's just like you just feel like the whole world is silence, and it's just what's in the ring is what matters. And so it leads to my first match, which I was super nervous for. Like I was so nervous, I like worried about like wearing kick pads instead of wearing boots. Like it was like little things that I worried about. I'm like, this is barely my first match, but I just wanted to make sure I got like the whole image down before I walked out the curtains, So I was just panicking and nervous. And when I got out there, it's just like, I felt like I'm finally going to show people what I'm made of, And now I don't think that nervousness ever goes away. You're always going to be nervous. I feel like if you're not nervous and you're not excited before you walk out into the ring, then what's the point of doing it?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe you don't give a damn that much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the
I
same
still
way
get-
with bands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When we're playing music. I'm sure that's what you're going with, Justin, on that one.
Yeah.
Well, I do really miss performing in a band. And, wrestling does kind of give me that same feeling, like you are still a performer. And And I think that's why I love wrestling and, you know, being in a band so much.
Would you say it's the nervousness, those feelings are similar, you know, between wrestling and doing the music?
You care about doing well. You know, just like when you perform with your band, you want to sound good. You don't want to mess up. You want to make sure everyone's on time. And, you know, and it's the same thing with, you know, when you go out to perform and wrestle, you just want to make sure you give it your all and your best and that people love what you do.
Yeah, and hopefully you don't get a shit sound guy.
Oh my god!
You know, you're doing the death metal shit.
That's the worst.
You know how many times you play across the states, man, Bodie? Like, and it's, dude, I've blown PAs. Like, guys just don't know what the hell they're doing, and you can't hear anything. So you're screaming your ass off. Next thing you know, your fucking voice is gone.
Or you can't even hear like the guitarist. You know, like he's trying to keep up, but I'm like, you're like probably either ahead or behind.
Right.
You can't hear each other on stage sometimes.
That's why I start just listening to the drummer.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Sometimes
all the drums. Yeah, that's terrible, man. Not having a great sound guy.
Oh yeah, it's absolute shits, man.
Mm-hmm. For the audience too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I went to a concert a few years ago where I was excited about this one band, a small local band. I can't remember the name of them, but they came in and I was super hyped. And I look over at the mixing guy because I pretend that I know about how to mix sound. And this dude had the whole outfit on, fucking upside down sunglasses, popped collar, like all this bullshit. He looked like a club DJ.
He looked like a fucking dork.
Yeah, and then he had this giant mixer with fucking 18,000 buttons, and he's like twisting everything and setting everything up. Sound came on. There were zero vocals, and this band was it was like vocal heavy. Like the person, the lead singer was a female, and she's got this particularly. It's indie rock music, but she's got a particular sound and she uses like looping. She loops her vocals and layers it and all this shit. And this guy just kept messing with it. And he had his headphones on, and I was like, "What are you like? Are you listening to are you listening to podcasts? Are you listening to like Linkin Park in your headphones? But you're twisting the mouse." I didn't know what was. And they did a 1 hour set, and he never fixed the sound. And I was staring at him the whole time, trying to burn him with my eyes. It fucking sucked. But I mean, whatever. Everybody's got stories like that. But you get a good sound guy, holy shit, makes you sound like,
oh, dude,
for angel and
for the longest time, like I was so used to having bad sound dudes that like once we had got a good one, it blew me away. I didn't know what the fuck to do. Like, oh wow, I really don't have to project that hard. You know, I can go home and still be able to talk or play the next city. You know, like. Crazy shit.
It's the best part.
Speaking of like, you know, training and taking bumps and all that and injuries, have you had anything like pretty bad injury wise happen so far in your career or no? Been lucky.
I've had my ribs fractured.
Ooh.
That hurts.
I got dropped on my head from a power slam before, and I actually bridged back and heard every bone from my neck down to my spine crack. It was scary. I think tore a rotator cuff, but I'm okay now. So
There you go.
We can rebuild her. We can make her stronger.
Training. So.
Yep. Right. What was it like working for Impact? Because was that explosion taping you worked on, or?
Oh yeah, it was only a one-time thing.
How'd that come about?
So I showed up, my friend Willie Mack texted me. He's like, hey,
nice.
You should just show up, just show face. So I was like, okay, I'll show face. And, just helped out with ring, pay your dues. And then the streamer walked over to me and said, I have a match for you. It's against Havoc. And that's how it happened. And I was very excited, very nervous. But yeah, I had a lot of fun in that match.
Hell yeah. Tommy Dreamer too. That's badass. Match time. Do you keep up with any? Do you watch any wrestling? Is there anything that's your favorite in particular?
I like to keep up with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I keep up with AEW. I keep up with NXT. I like to watch like old school Japan wrestling from like the early 90s, especially the women's division during that time. I really feel like they're way ahead of their time.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yes.
Yeah, because I feel like the women now are barely doing, the women in the U.S. I think are barely doing what the women in Japan were doing in the 90s. So I feel like I'm just mind blown. Like this was going on during the 90s. Like how come like no one knew about this over here?
Oh yeah, it wasn't pushed. It's weird. Like it's a
No.
weird state. Like, and I'd like to get your opinion on this. How do you feel about the state of women's wrestling, like in the U.S. and I guess as a whole, I should say.
I feel like we're growing. I feel like we're definitely finally getting the push that we need, and I just hope it continues to grow from here.
Who do you think out of like the major TV promotions has like the best women's roster?
I definitely think NXT has the best women's roster.
Okay, all right. I'm stoked for they got Halloween Havoc coming up, which is super awesome. And Shotzi Blackheart hosting that, and they brought back the spin the wheel, make the deal. Yeah,
Dude, that's what I wanted.
dude, that's so badass. Who's some of your favorite women performers out down in NXT?
Shotzi is one of them. Bianca Belair.
Nice.
Although I think they brought her over to the main roster now.
Yeah,
right?
I think she's on SmackDown.
Yeah, I think she just got drafted to SmackDown.
I love watching Rhea Ripley. I love watching all of them. I don't have like a favorite, but I just like watching everyone. It's just good to watch everything.
Oh yeah, totally. And there's so much to watch nowadays. It's crazy. It's hard to keep up with.
That's true.
You watch a lot of indie wrestling at all, or no?
I try.
I mean, obviously being a part of the indie scene.
Oh yeah, I try to when I can. Like whenever I see any of my friends like post a link to their match.
It's a good thing, I think. Like for people involved in the indies like yourself, and when you have friends in the business that are wrestling all over, and you find a good place that takes care of the boys and the girls, and gives you good matches. And like around here in Chicagoland, we got Warrior Wrestling, we have Freelance Wrestling, AAW, Black Label Pro, like all these promotions. So it's cool when you got friends that are like, hey, I just work this place, like come check them out, put in a good word or something like that. Like it's so awesome how that works. We've seen a lot of people, especially with like Warrior, a lot of people from AEW and Impact coming there, and it's like, it'd be so cool to see so and so there. And next thing you know, those guys are getting booked because it's like they get so well taken care of, and they're going back to AEW and whatnot and telling their friends like, hey man, you got to check this out. And we get like some of the most amazing dream matches. We just had God, who the hell who did she wrestle? I'm trying to think. Bodie, help me out.
What? Madison Rain, Kylie Ray?
Madison Rain. Yeah, it was Kylie Ray. Madison Rain's last indie match she wrestled out here. So that's pretty cool,
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of cool shit going on. So what do you got indie-wise out there where you're at? I mean, I know there's like PCW. Is there any other like big promotions out that way?
I feel like I think there's like I don't know why I'm going blank again. There's so many out here, okay? But I can't think of them at the moment. Well, we got like CWF Hollywood. We got LA Lucha that was going on for a while. We got Ground Zero in San Diego. And then up north in California, we have Glam, Hood Slam. I love working up there. So much fun. And in between matches, they have a band playing, so that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Who does that?
Glam, Hood Glam. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's in the future. If we ever do one promotion, that's what we're hoping when all this stuff passes. We want to do like a test show. Definitely try to do something with music in the middle. I think it'd be bad as fuck. Like it'd just be super cool.
Oh yeah, AWS did that too. Well, AWS was like doing their last show, but I think they were trying to make a comeback before the pandemic hit.
Nice. Yeah, Wolf Fest was trying to do some.
Oh yeah, that would be dope. Like a metal band and then a match and then and then a match.
Yeah, they were they were pretty much trying to do exactly that. We had Tony Weinbender on there from Fest on the show talking about it was supposed to be during Mania weekend. God, what the fuck was that called?
They had like Obituary on that and stuff too.
Obituary. They were playing the what was it? Slowly We Rock? What was it? It was another album. I can't remember the album. Anyway,
Complete.
No, that'd be cool though too. World Demise would be awesome live too in its entirety. Anyway, they had how awesome would that be to have like, so, and you know, we're boys with a lot of these guys, Bodie, we've been playing around with them. Like,
Oh yeah, for
have
years.
a badass fucking show, you know, like,
Yeah.
That would be cool.
hell yeah, like dying fetus and then some fucking
right.
killer matches afterwards. But yeah, there's people that are doing that stuff, and it's super cool and it's super unique because I would like a little more of a metal niche in wrestling. You know, I feel like there's like this a collective group of metal minded personalities like yourself and, you know, Joseph Samael and Mecha Wolf and all. There's a lot of other people, and it would just be awesome for everybody to come together on one show for something badass. You know, Matthew Justice, who's also a big metal guy. You never know what could happen. So
Right.
come on.
Very cool. So hopefully someone can get to that.
Right.
I have a second question.
Fucking ask.
Look at that.
Oh shit. All right. See, sometimes these questions pop into my head, and then I always wonder whether they're gonna come out of my mouth the same
They
way that
won't.
they're.
I always
rattling
wonder
around
what's
in
going
here.
in his. No, never mind.
Yeah. So given all your interests, you know, you seem to have a ton of different cool interests. Like I like the team that we have when we do the show because we all have our particular things that we like, and like Venn diagrams, we connect on a bunch of that shit. And then also I'm grateful because there's been a lot of music, wrestling, like horror stuff that these guys are into. Well, I'm into too, but so my question kind of is like, what is the thing, given like, you know, whatever your friends and family before you got into wrestling thought of the fact that you got into wrestling, and then the people that don't know about your metal world and your vocalist world, like those friends, like what is the thing that you will talk somebody's ear off that you will sit there and they'll be like, oh dude, come on, like I've been listening to you for the last hour. Like what is that thing that you that you're like maybe the most passionate about, or that you get the most hyped when you're talking about it? Or is it a little bit of everything? And then I heard you say something about horror while I was talking over everyone.
Yeah. Pretty much I can talk to anyone all day about horror movies, music. I can go on about that. And those three, that's it. You can have a long conversation with me about that.
Talk a little bit about horror, Justin.
Nice segue. Favorite horror movie? Go.
Favorite horror movie of all time? The Exorcist.
Nice.
Nice.
Good
We
choice.
get a lot of that. We get a lot of that.
I watched that when I was 6 years old. My stepdad showed that
Beautiful.
to me, and ever since then, I've been into horror movies.
That's awesome.
Just last week we had on. You remember Gene Snitsky from WWE? It wasn't my fault. He's the one that kicked Lita and Kane's fake baby on Raw. It wasn't my fault.
You'll always be known for that.
Yeah, I mean that's But anyways,
Classic.
we had him and Ernie O'Donnell from Clerks, and they did a horror movie called 100 Acres of Hell, and it's actually pretty damn good. But we were talking about horror and stuff, and Exorcist came up, and it came up kind of a lot. I feel like maybe not a total lot, but it's like everybody. Wow, it's just it amazes me that I mean it is pretty damn scary when you think about it. About the
I did hear that they're making a remake for it.
See, they did back in the day. Well, I want to say, man, it's Saran, you might be able to help me out with this, but maybe like anywhere between 10 to 15 years ago, they had like a prequel, and then they re-recorded it or did something and put that one out.
They reshot a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it was fucking weird. It was all right, but
They were both versions were pretty good.
yeah, they were cool. And do you remember, I think it was like early 2000s, maybe it was late 90s, The Exorcist got released back in the theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
And that was super cool. Like to be able to go to a major theater and see a classic like that and see what all the hoopla about. I mean, even though I had seen it as a kid, you know, renting the DVD and stuff, it's one of those things like to me in horror, if something that really kind of gets in your mind is like when you start diving into like religious stuff that seems real, you know, like ghosts, like apparitions and possession and your mother sucks cocks, I don't care, and all that crazy shit, you know? The pea soup spewage, you know, all that shit. Like, I mean, that maybe, and the whole supposed curse around that movie and all the weird shit that happened. There's just so much surrounding that I feel makes that one of like the all-time greats. And it's probably why a lot of people find it as their favorite horror film.
Yeah, I think also like anything that you can't see is pretty terrifying, right?
Right, because you're leaving it up to the imagination. It's like
exactly.
like Snitsky said on last week. It's like sometimes the best horror and like kill scenes and stuff is like the stuff you don't see because.
Well, since you guys all like horror movies, do you guys also have Shudder accounts too?
I've had it since it came out, girl. Who you trying? Come on,
Yes, we all have Shudder accounts.
Yes.
Not just Justin. We do.
Have you guys been keeping up with like the new releases? There was a new release that just came out that had so much potential. Let me look it up real quick.
There was a zombie movie that came out that takes place like in Canada. It was like First Nation Indians, like a zombie outbreak, and they were the only ones that were able to kind of deal with it. And they hyped the shit out of it. They were this is like right when quarantine started. They were advertising the fuck out of it.
Oh, is that the one where they're like cave? It looks like they were cave people. I thought it was like a TV show.
No,
I've been watching Holliston or whatever, where it's got Otis from Guar on there and Dee Snider and Adam Green, who did the Hatchet movies. It's like a TV show that came out in 2012, but they had it on Shudder.
I can't.
They got some good ones. Usually when my social media pushes.
Hour. That's the name of the movie that I just watched.
What's it called?
What is it?
It's called The Cleansing Hour. It's the new release on Shudder. It's if you want to laugh the whole entire time, watch that.
I do love it. And we do another show called the JP Dub Podcast, and we actually on this show we did it last year, like through our social media. We do the 31 Days of Fear. So every day it's a favorite horror movie of ours, or mainly of mine. And we do little 1-minute improv videos on it, just kind of explaining the movie to some degree and being goofy about it. But this year it's been a lot. It's a lot of like weird. You notice the pattern. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but like sci-fi, horror, comedy. I just wrote the list down like off the top of my head at work one day. I'm like, all right, here's 31 fucking movies. We're gonna do videos for all these. These guys just did one. What was it yesterday?
Phantasm.
You did one for Phantasm today. What's your thoughts on Phantasm?
I don't think I've seen it.
What?
Oh man,
Maybe
iconic.
Oh,
maybe I have. I don't remember, but nothing's ringing a bell to me.
you got Shudder. You better watch that shit.
Okay.
Also on Amazon Prime.
Wait, is that the one
With the ball and the tall man. He's like, boy.
and it's on Shudder?
I think it was on Shudder. They had a lot of them on there. There's 5 of them.
Okay.
It's on Prime now for sure.
Look into it.
Do you use Tubi at all?
No, I don't.
It's free. It's just like Netflix, but it's free and they have some commercials in it, but nothing is censored. And they have a badass horror selection on there. There's like
Is it called
thousands. It's called Tubi, Tubi.
again? Tubi. Okay.
Yeah. I should be getting paid by now because I'm always promoting those motherfuckers. But they got some great shit. And musically, there's like the Death documentary is on there, which is awesome. There's all kinds of good like death metal, punk rock, and just music documentaries in general on there.
Mm-hmm.
You watch Joe Bob Briggs at all? The Last Drive-In on Shudder?
No, I haven't seen that one.
He's like this horror host. He's been around since around like the 90s.
90s, yeah.
It's really cool. Him and this chick Darcy, the male girl. She models and stuff too. Does cosplay horror stuff and all that. But they watch a movie. I think Jericho was on. It was Blood Sucking Freaks when they showed that. So they do these episodes. They show these movies, but then before the movie does like a synopsis of it, and it's hilarious. I never thought I would have like fun watching a motherfucker talk about a movie. Usually it's like, all right, come on, get to the point. Let me see the damn movie. But like everything this dude has to say is awesome. He's like one of those iconic horror hosts from back in the day, like Elvira. I'm sure you're familiar with her, right?
Yeah, of course.
I had a huge crush on Elvira back in the day.
I think I did.
Yeah, everyone did.
Right? So you were telling us about this zombie movie. There was one I know I just turned Sretton on a month or two ago on Shudder. Did you watch Yummy?
No, it looked corny to me, so I didn't watch it. Is it any good?
It's good. It's gory. I don't. What's your like level in horror like for gore? I mean, do you like the gory stuff or not so much?
I don't really care for the gory stuff. What I like is like anything that's paranormal.
Okay, so in more like a psychological type thing.
Paranormal or psychological. I like.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What's
I think all like what is it called, Night Shifter or something like that on there. I thought that was a pretty cool psychological twist. Also on Pedagore, it was very Asian based, so it reminds me of like all like the horror stories that my mom used to tell me about Vietnam, like ghost stories from Vietnam. But this movie was filmed in Indonesia, so they have like a lot of similar ghost stories, I feel.
Well, Sren's been he was talking about our last JP Dub episode that we did. He's been in like Amazon Prime. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I guess like what was it? You were talking about the Korean horror movies, Sren?
So yeah, there's a ton of Korean, like they're like thrillers, but they're so fucking violent that they could be like horror movies. But then there's a bunch of like I follow a dude on YouTube, and the last one that popped into my head, there's a zombie movie called Hashtag Alive or something like that is on Netflix, I think.
Yes,
that I really want to see.
I want to see that too.
But Korea's got some. I don't know.
That's the one where he's in the apartment complex, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I did watch it. Man, I caught a little.
Oh,
sure you did.
I watched that too. That was
any
really
good?
Yeah.
The one on Netflix, right? That Korean zombie one where he's like locked up in his apartment.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it.
Hashtag Alive. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. You said it, but I forgot. But yeah, that one was really. I don't really like zombie movies. I don't, but that one I did like.
They have there was another one that they recommended, but I don't know. They when we were talking about it last time with Claire, those Korean movies usually the thriller horrors, they usually they leave you with like you get depressed after you watch them because they're so dark, and it's not just like if you watch a movie and everybody dies, all right, whatever. But like if you watch a movie and you have like an existential crisis and you're just like, I'm gonna die too, I might die tomorrow. Like you have like a next level like depressive reaction to this shit. Awesome, but I can't handle that. Like that sticks with me for like a week or two. So, but they got some really good ones. The last awesome one I saw was I think I saw The Devil or something like that, which was very gory, but also awesome. I like the gore only if it's kind of silly. That's why I like I love Evil Dead. I fucking hate the Hostel movies. When they came out with I don't like most of Eli Roth's movies because that term like horror porn. I'm not into
they got like
shit.
dogs biting this dude's wangus off, man. It was like,
I still didn't like the Hostel movies. I thought they were boring.
They were.
He's
boring.
trying too hard.
Thank you.
He did a movie that he filmed in Argentina. It was about the earthquake. I don't know if some earthquake in Argentina. It was a lot of tourists with and he had a sort of a cameo. He gave himself like the worst death in the movie, but he can't help himself. You watch this movie and you're like, all right, I don't know if it was where in Argentina it took place, but like people were just trying to survive and there were like aftershocks and all this, but he just couldn't help himself. He had to bring in that awful, awful horror, that like lingering on torture, and it just it feels it's too much. It feels like horror porn. I don't like that term. I don't like those movies. Evil Dead all the way. I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
It's all good. He also let somebody fucking remake what is it, Cabin Fever. I don't know why I did that.
I can't get into that movie.
You didn't like it?
Every time I try to watch it, I just can't finish it. I don't know why. I'm not into it.
It's weird. It
is weird.
It reminds me of that movie, like a horror version of the movie Kids from back in the day. You ever seen Kids?
God. I remember I've seen that movie a bunch of times.
God, it's fucked up. It's like you watch Kids and it's like, I'm never having sex again. Don't touch me. Get away. Well, yeah, and that movie was like what, early 2000s. Like it doesn't need a remake.
I think so.
What's your thoughts on all these remakes that are coming out?
I think people are just running out of ideas.
Thank you.
That's a lot better.
Yeah.
Or remaking all the Japanese and Korean horror movies, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like The Ring kind of kicked that all off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
The Grudge.
Yeah, but the Japanese versions of those were way better.
Shudder did release that that horror movie where it's called Sadako versus Kayako or whatever, which is The Grudge versus The Ring.
Oh, yeah.
Guys watch that?
No.
No,
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I'll watch that.
I kind of want to now.
But then I was like, it's kind of corny, but I liked it still, you know?
Mhm.
It's
That's
just
awesome.
like a story that, we all know of, and we just want to see them battle each other out. So,
Right, like Freddy versus Jason back in the day.
Yeah.
I think they did a better job than Freddy versus Jason.
Nobody likes. Why does everybody shits on it? I thought it was an okay movie.
That was subpar.
I could do without any of the Jason movies.
Ooh.
All right, fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
like Friday the 13th. Except Friday the 13th part 10. They went a little too far with that and the space thing. And I was like,
Hey,
Yeah, that's
stop.
dude,
Stop.
Uber Jason was tight.
I don't know. I'd rather see a movie with Super Shredder than Uber Jason.
Better call up Kevin Nash then, boy.
I will. Go. Motherfucker. Play.
So you mentioned your parents were from Vietnam, right? And you were born here in America. So how is that like for them, like coming over here, and like for you growing up? Was it? I mean, just like I don't really know how to put it into words though, but it to me it would be with that whole thing with Vietnam and everything. I mean, it goes back to like the Vietnam War and all that? Was it they were trying to get out, obviously have something better life? Where was your mom pregnant with you when she came over here, or
no, she got pregnant when she came here, but so no, she wasn't pregnant on her way over here is what I meant. So, but my mom, she was born during the Vietnam War, and she didn't know her real parents, so she was adopted. For the longest time, her adopted parents would tell her, "Your father is Australian, and your mother's Vietnamese, and her name's Rose," and this and that. So she never really knew the real story about her mom. So I decided to get her the DNA test, and we found out that she's actually French and German and Vietnamese. So we're in the process of trying to find her real parents right now, and she actually got in touch with her first cousin from her mom's side. So we're just trying to find like a closer relative on her father's side. But my mom, like, life over here was really hard. Obviously, she had to start from nothing. And my dad wasn't in my life when I was a kid, so it was just me and my mom for a while. And we growing up in LA, it was difficult because I'm in the little town in LA that I live in. It's called La Puente, and I'm pretty much the only Asian here, and I would get teased a lot in school for just being Asian.
yeah, kids are fucking heartless.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think it's just probably why I became a metalhead, being like most
Right.
metalheads.
Right.
There you go. Well, it's all right. I mean, you're living out your dreams right now, so you can always look back at that and be like, yeah, fuck it.
Exactly. Piss
Right.
off.
What about like action movies or anything? Are you into anything like that?
Action movies. When I was little, obviously, growing up in an Asian household, my stepdad would show me all these action movies, but Lee in them, Jet Li, Rush Hour, if you want to count that.
Sorry, I was distracted by
Sorry,
taking
yeah.
down our sweet tropical backdrop. Join the club, Stratton.
Yeah, you did take down your backdrop.
Sorry.
I just found out that duct tape doesn't work on a green screen.
Oh, that's what it was. Hey, our
Yeah.
production is top notch. Top notch.
Nutch. Botch.
Yeah. So is there one person let me ask you this before I ask you this question. What are your thoughts on intergender wrestling?
I love it. There should be more of it.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, there
I
should.
think I've said it many times on here. I think one of the companies that really pushed the ground in modern day wrestling for that was Lucha Underground. As far as like empowering that, and not even saying that you didn't look at a matchup like Sexy Star versus Brian Cage or whoever it was at the time. You didn't look at it as like, oh, this woman's going against this man. You looked at it as like two fighters, two combatants, that's what it needs to be, in my opinion. Like, don't let no lines be blurred by gender. Like, if these people are fighting, and let me put it this way, like in war, if you're in the military, it's not, you're shooting at each other or doing whatever. They're not worried about, oh my God, this girl just shot him. Like why should it be like that in, sports? I mean, although I don't think there'll ever be like MMA, intergender MMA, because that might be a little fucked up. But as far as professional wrestling goes, I think they really set the tone for what it should be. And to see like Sexy Star win their world title, like for what I considered to be at the time a major promotion and a very innovative promotion at that. RIP Lucha Underground, because that was the shit. To me, that was like modern day ECW or something like that. Like it had this cult following, guys like Willie Mack, your homie Willie Mack, and a lot of other people that are everywhere.
Ricochet was there for a little bit as Prince Puma.
Yeah, it's everybody from that promotion for the most part. And we won't name the one guy that nobody likes with the mustache that had a shitty gimmick. But it's just it's so amazing to see what a promotion could do as far as something like that goes, and to be able to change people's perspective. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely.
Don't look at it as like female versus male, because in my mind, it's like when people start looking at it like that, it's like you're already kind of degrading the match and the people in it, and it doesn't need to be like that, because it's going to be fucking, I've seen some great intergender matches. It's going to be fucking entertaining. It's going to be awesome, and some of them can be very, very hard hitting. So like, what about death matches?
Death matches, they're fun.
Have you had any death matches?
No.
They're fun, they're great. I never had one. Would you be open to doing one?
I don't know.
Sretton's totally against them. Bodie did some wrestling for a while, so he's taking some light tubes to the head and all that.
Thumbtacks, barbed wire. Oh yeah. I did all that. I do it again.
I mean, I was involved in a lot of death matches. I mean, coming out with War Beast all the time.
Yeah.
I would assist for two, like, here you go. To Joe, here you go.
Yeah. Here, hit him with this.
I'm gonna go stand over here now.
Where do you want to see like your wrestling career go? Is there a point to where you're gonna be like, all right, this was cool and I'm done. I'm gonna do maybe more modeling or do whatever,
I think my ultimate goal would be I would like to work for WWE one day. I think that's an ultimate goal of mine. But other than that, like, AAA, I feel I love working for AAA because, like you were mentioning earlier about intergender wrestling, I think every time that I've been out there, I've always worked intergender.
Yeah. And they do it well. Like I said, AAA with Lucha Underground was basically AAA's venture into Americana, American wrestling. They do it so well down there, and I love that whole culture, the lucha libre, the Mexican culture down there. It's great. Like they live for wrestling. It's a huge part. It's not just like up here where it's like, oh, you like wrestling, great. No, I mean down there, this is like family bloodlines. It's insane.
And, I do have a lot of friends that are signed in different promotions. They always tell me, like, it's best when you're not signed because you get to travel anywhere you want, And they're like, just as long as you get to travel and get paid for it, and
that's where it's at right there. That's the thing. Traveling's great, but fuck you, pay me. That's this, the people that are telling you that have the contracts and the money. Well, do fuck that. Because you could still like Impact. There are some, however people view Impact nowadays. I think they're great. I think they've been on the rebound for the last several years. There's still some people that they are paying pretty damn nice. Like I'm sure the Good Brothers and all those guys that just went there, they ain't getting paid fucking peanuts, but they can still go work other places. Same thing with AEW. You got guys, Joey Janela. I mean, dude, I just saw him the last couple of weeks wrestle a couple of shows for GCW.
Yeah.
And he's a big contracted talent. They had fucking John Moxley. How much bigger do you get than John Moxley? The AEW world champion showing up for Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like people, don't let anybody tell you that bullshit, girl. Just go wherever you could go, make some money, and make sure you read the fine print when you do sign that contract.
Oh yeah, read everything.
Yep. The coin better be right.
No shit. Who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
Undertaker.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
What'd
grew up
you
watching them.
Awesome.
I love watching him too. I mean, last couple of years there was some point. I'm glad he went out the way he did, although I'm hearing that it may not be the end, but it's getting a little rough to watch. It's like guys like even like I love Sabu. Sabu's awesome. He's been on the show, but man, he will straight wrestle until he dies in the ring. Like I guarantee that's probably how it's going to end. He'll be in the fucking ring. What were your thoughts on the Last Ride documentary? Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did watch it. It was good to see how he felt, like how he still gets nervous before he walks out. You would never think the Undertaker would get nervous, right? So
we never knew. We never had that access to him, you know?
I'm like, wow, at the end of the day, he's human. He feels the same way we do. He gets nervous. He gets excited just like we do. And, you know, I think that was a good reminder that everyone's human, you know?
Right. That's a very good point. I mean, you look at, you know, you men and women in the sport that it's like living, breathing superheroes, you know, these icons, these, you know, as a kid, I thought that shit too when I was a kid growing up. And it's like you see guys like the Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and everything, and you're just like in awe. And you don't realize that they are people. And
yeah.
So when bad shit does happen, or and like seeing like the stuff with the Undertaker and all the surgeries and just like, man, he's been hurting. He's been in pain. He still did the job. He's gotten the surgeries done that may have helped a little bit. But I guarantee you, every day that guy gets up, he's just in some goddamn pain, man. Jesus Christ. So as far as Undertaker, what about female performers? Favorite of all time?
Favorite female performers of all time? I really like watching China. I like watching Manami Toyota a lot, actually. Pretty much anyone who wrestles in Japan during that early 90s era. Like, there's something
about Medusa.
I just love it. Yes, all of them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Lita
China
was a favorite of mine too, growing up. Lita.
There you go. Yeah, she was, and she got her start in ECW before she came to the E with S.A. Rios. Remember him?
Oh, wow.
Dude, he had that weird red hair, man.
Yeah. S.A. Rios.
He was in he somehow made his way in the No Mercy, the old Nintendo 64. Like, who are you going to pick? S.A. Rios. Yeah, right. I wish he was in there. I would have picked her over him.
Yeah, right. Wow.
I like China. That's an interesting topic, real quick. Huge pioneer, I think, for the sport. I think she kind of got the raw deal, you know, because of politics and weird love triangles, whatever you want to call it. What's your thoughts on that whole situation with her? Yeah, I mean, and now, of course, because she has passed on, you know, WWE's like, oh, well, she's great, but they wouldn't recognize her when she was down and out, when she was alive, for essentially the same shit they're recognizing her for now.
My thoughts on that. I feel like no one really knows the real story. She knows the real story, you know? Those closest to her know the real story. We don't know that. We just see what everyone else is saying, and it sucks how it happened. I wish they would have given her recognition when she was alive, you know, so that she could have seen that before she left. But
right. I mean, because did she go in the Hall of Fame?
I think she did.
Which, I mean, what does the fucking WWE Hall of Fame even really mean, you know?
It means a lot. What do you mean?
I guess. I mean, it's. See, to me, I look at it as like it's just like this political business deal. I mean, yeah, it does mean a lot. But to me, if there was more of a just legit professional wrestling Hall of Fame, then, you know, WWE, it's like, hey, come on, Donald fucking Trump is in there. You know, who else they got? Who else is in there? It's Snoop Dogg,
Kid Rock.
Like, what the? I
forgot Donald Trump is in there.
Yeah, there you go. Do you still think it's too legit to quit? I don't think so.
I don't know.
But
No, but there's politics everywhere in wrestling. So it's not.
it is. Yeah. It's just it just sucks because I myself was a big China fan. I thought she broke down barriers. I mean, for fucking women, for just it was great. And in her prime, I mean, shit, she was Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
Like,
and she was in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I was just gonna say in the Royal Rumble, like, holy shit. And you know, you've had like Beth Phoenix do that like since then, which is also cool. Beth's also cool.
Yeah.
But it kind of fucking grinds my gears, you know, that bullshit. It's like, I'll wait till she's dead to acknowledge her because Triple H left her for the boss's daughter. Like, what a crock of shizer there. But what can you do, you know?
Right.
So Viva, real quick before we wind down here, where can everybody find you at on social media? Let people know where they can buy some of your product at and all of that good stuff.
Well, everyone can follow me on IG and Twitter at Hellbent Vixen, and on Facebook you can find me under Viva Van, and you can shop at my store called hellbentglam.com. You can find all your vegan cosmetics and chokers and accessories.
Has Effie ever bought anything from you?
No.
Damn it.
Hi, were you trying to pitch my stuff to Effie?
I might. I like Effie. He's awesome. He let me grab his junk after a death match.
I'll let
No
you
shame
know.
in my game. Bodie, Sretton.
Yo.
I caught you guys, motherfuckers. There we go. Look at the fucking tapes. It's so weird.
See you guys later.
Yes.
That's
It's like you got a vanishing cape like straight out of Harry Potter, dude.
That's right.
Oh,
Look at
I don't
you.
watch Harry Potter. I wouldn't know anything about that. Are you a fan of Harry Potter?
of course.
Oh, all right. Well,
There you go.
Then
I
this
was-
is really cool, huh?
See?
That is cool.
So good.
Fucking bullshit. That's what it is.
You should take a picture of your room and then put that as your background. So when you want to disappear, you just put that over you and you just blend in with your room.
There you
Oh.
go. Yes. That's awesome.
yeah. For those of you that can't see it because you're listening in podcast land and not watching on YouTube right now, Sretton is throwing a tropical JP Dub digital blanket over his person and making himself disappear into thin air. It's a
right.
very fun sight. So
Quite
that's
the-
why you
quite
have
the
to head to
product
jpdub.com and watch it. Viva, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's been fun. It's been fucking
Thank
real. It's been real fucking fun. I hope you had a good time. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me, guys. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, anytime. Anytime you have something going on you want to promote, you want to come on, shoot the shit, we're always here. We're just a phone call or a text away, so let us know.
Sounds good.
And thank you, everybody watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. If you're listening out there in podcast land, be sure to download, share, rate, review, tell your friends. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Leave us a voicemail at 1-872-267-4199. Channeling the Micro Machines guy. Until next time, I'm the Juice. He's Sretton. That's Bruiser Bodie. He's Viva Van. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wow! I'm so hard for Viva Van. It's Sretton and Bruiser Bodie. And all my friends are so fucking insane. Tune in next week because PCO is coming. He's coming back.
You gonna do sex to me?
Did you like that video? If so, be sure to hit like and subscribe and check out more killer content from your boys at Juice Pro Wrestling. Whoa, yeah!